Well, hey there, team. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a bit more Stationeers. We're on the liftoff playthrough. This bloody thing is struggling. But, oh well, the struggle continues. Oh, okay. You can just stay over there, sir. So we've got a fair bit done on this first sort of startup. We've got our grid, which is working fairly well. People have suggested that maybe I shore up the tracking system sooner rather than later. That seems like a grand idea. I mean, we obviously want to get our hydroponics working properly anyway. We ended up getting enough stuff from here to build the electronics printer. So that's our next sort of stop. There we go there. Nice. So we'll work on that. For the most part, this should be functional, right? I think. Oh, we've got working doors. We've got a sealed sort of environment. That's cool. Yeah. It's just going to be, like, producing the gases that we need is just going to be a little bit more tricky. We, in the past, have run, like, exhaust systems off of the auto lathe. Realistically, you need, as long as you've got some CO2 in there, then you're laughing. So what we probably will end up doing, what's going to be the smartest way to do this safely, is probably, maybe even just opening my suit lid a little bit. We could also we can vent our waste tank. We've got the air inside this capsule over here. So what we could also hypothetically do is make a like another canister, and we could draw air out of there. Because vacuuming in anything at this point is a bit tricky. We could look at vacuuming in essentially freezing cold. Whoops. Essentially freezing cold like oxide, or you know. But at that point, there's no real point for that. I mean, we could use ice, I suppose. That's not really that helpful. No, the melted ices, we're much better off just venting a can of bloody O2 into the system. So what we might end up with is some waste air and essentially a very pure O2 room, which isn't so bad as long as we're not introducing any sort of spark or anything like that. You got to be careful dealing with such a high concentration of O2. So I think that might be what we do. We'll do the exact same vent system that we did on Mars, just bearing in mind that we can't draw passive atmosphere in to add to that sort of cooling system. So it's actually a lot harder to manage on the moon, but for different reasons. Now we should have bloody muesli bars. Now that's the thing, you can't sort of sit back on your laurels too much here, because you go through those bloody muesli bars in pretty fast order. There's our electronics kit. What am I going to do with this? Oh, I can put that in there. Happy to put frames there. Grab that. So there's a bit of busy work to do. But yes, tracking the grid, definitely important. More important than getting food under control. It's a tough one, you know? Like, as long as our grid's not running out, who cares? But as I said, we're probably, on this playthrough, I'm going to focus on going heavier on the power usage and general automation. And, you know, with each subsequent playthrough, you just get faster as well. Compare this to, I did pretty much an entire front end of a series trying to get an exhaust system to feed into a passive cooling system. It was fun actually doing that, really getting into the cerebral nitty gritty. Iron sheets and a welding torch. But I think, well, I guess we'll see. Because, yeah, it's just sourcing even sourcing the atmosphere on Mars was tough. Like, you still had to build up enough pressure for it to grow in. You know, so I'm going to work with the more pure O2 here, which should, I think it will be, I don't want to say safe, but it's not going to be that dangerous, is probably the more honest approach, right? And I think it would be a screwdriver next, right? Oh, plastic sheets, my apologies. All right, cool. And that now it's the screwdriver. Okay, cool. Right. So as far as printing out material, oh wow. As far as printing out materials, like logic chips and all that, the issue that we're going to have is, why does it say electronics printed? Oh, I guess it's because we just spawned it in. Is that it's going to require gold to make a lot of this stuff. You can see copper and gold are the core sort of ingredients. So we'll have to go out and do another run because we don't have enough gold. Gold's such a pain in the ass to find. I think someone was getting a bit chirpy about why we're flying around. It's so we can see the gold. Gold's quite hard to see. And so you fly around the sky to try and eyeball it. All right, we're going to need an active vent. Do we start with an active vent? I think we start with a vent, passive or otherwise. Active. Oh. Okay, so we can work with that. Well, where's our power? I guess we've got the power main down the bottom, so... like that. I guess we could put it low. It doesn't really matter, does it? Here will do. Right. It should be poking out the back. Yeah, so exact same sort of design philosophy as previous. Alright. Come on. That one. That one. Jesus, why are we having such a hard time? Okay, that's fine. Cool. And then we'll put the wire cutter in the other hand. There we go. Alright, so that's plugged into the grid. We're gonna want to get pipe, and this is for your passive sort of cooling system. And this is going to be tough to tell. It's honestly, it's probably going to be one of those things where adding length to it over time is the go. Let's do it like this, and at least then we could wind it all the way around, down, and then back through, sort of thing. But that's probably enough to get the ball rolling, I would say. Okay, so let's have a think about it. What, yeah, so this is going to take a little bit of an experiment. Can we get this? Is this good? Very good. Okay. Now we just got to be careful we don't kill ourselves here. Story of my life. Well, not like that. It's not supposed to be grim. Just more like, just be careful blowing yourself up by accident. So, my thoughts are, now flushing the mask, I don't think does anything other than maybe flushing your head of the suit into the waste tank, right? So if I were to flush, then our waste, which is at 161, what happens?
Critical. Oxygen critical.
Well, our air tank actually drew in a lot. There shouldn't be any extra, but our waste didn't go up. What about our pressure internal? I'm going to flush it again. 5371 and 162. Okay, so look, it definitely drew in another 20 kPa.
Low pressure.
But our waste tank didn't go up. And yet our suit doesn't seem to be overpressurized. Where is the excess flushed gas going? because for a while I had the wrong assumption that it might vent, you know what I mean? Outwards. But 164. Target, internal pressure, 49. Tracker, e-reader. Atmos analyzer. Let's just put this to bed. And make sure that it actually hasn't flushed externally. Room, O2, CO2. It does in fact flush. Ah. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily having a go at whoever said that. But this is how I thought in the old day, that the flush actually flushed your suit external. And someone said, no, what it's doing is it's flushing your like internal gas into the waste. But it's clearly not, because look at this. We've got, I mean, it's only 37 pascals. It's nothing. But again, it's something. All right. Well, what we're going to try here, I should be able to pull this waste tank out without too much trouble. It'll give me warnings and all that, but I should be okay.
Waste tank critical.
Open. Alright, so now we've emptied the waste tank and we'll put it back in. Now we check this. Our pressure's gone back up. It's not even 1 kPa. Temperature's not fantastic. And then let's see the effects of flushing the helmet on the display. Oh yeah, it definitely flushes the entire suit out. Okay.
Temperature critical. Low pressure.
Isn't that interesting? Geez, that temperature's come right down. That's not a big deal. I mean, even the sun's going to start cooking whatever we leave in here. Now, the one other trick that I was potentially going to do is open my mask and see how much we can vent into here. I'm going to just do that real quick.
Pressure critical. Temperature low. Oxygen critical.
Let's try
Low
that.
pressure. Pressure critical. Temperature low. Oxygen critical.
So there's not a huge amount getting out, which, I mean, fair enough. It's only what's in the suit, you know, potentially. In fact, I think opening your mask like that is probably the exact equivalent of just flushing. Now have a look at how bloody cold the temperature is in here anyway. 600 kPa. But I mean, it is airtight, so that's something. Okay, cool. Well, we might have to have a bit more of a think about what we're going to do with this. Like I said, the other option is to put a tank straight in. I don't want to put one of my existing ones, because to pull my air tank out right now is probably not what I would call a bloody safe maneuver. I mean, I could actually do that, but it's under. There's quite a bit of well. No, that'd be dangerous, because it would vent the entire tank, right? And then what do? Do I run out to the oxygen tank and fill it back up? No, that's some dangerous stuff right there. Yeah, no, I think what we'll do is take in a whole tank of just pure O2 from our reserve and put it in here. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty much pure oxygenated room, but it will be, well, it's not inert, but at least we won't be sparking up in here or anything like that. Set inward, unless the vent somehow does it. I don't think it will. Active vent on. Actually, what I should do, we'll empty it all out, actually. See, look, it's not even giving me 1 kPa external. And then we'll trap what little air we can in there. So at least it'll heat up, no? Nil. Okay. So that's something we're working at. But yeah, sourcing the air safely is definitely a bit of a thing of its own. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, we're going to need more copper anyway. How is our grid? It's not too bad. We got yellow there. You got to bear in mind that my suit's going to be going through all this as well. People have pointed out you could turn off the light. Sure, I understand that. I also want to make a watchable YouTube video. So I'm not running around in the dark. That's just not really an option. So that should charge that up quite a bit. And we're going to go have a quick look for especially gold. But if I am to check this out here, what have I actually got? I've actually got nothing. Well, I did cook up a bunch of copper and that. What is this? Bloody silver or lead or something. Doesn't really matter. Alright.
Jetpack on.
I mean, I guess I've got compass. I've got a compass nowadays, don't I?
Caution.
I better eat that. So we're going 270, so what's that, like west-ish? There's, look at that, gold right there. Holy hell. After all the struggles that we were having, it's good to see a big outcrop of it. So we will make some time and take the time. Drilling this out. The other two are much more abundant. Alright, so this is good. This will give us a little bit more capacity to shore up our grid and have it automated. At the very least, so we don't have to adjust the existing thing, you know? And then it's sort of like, when do you add more solar panels? Well, I mean, when is your grid actually in trouble of being drained, you know? Do you wait until your grid shits itself and then shore it up? That's probably not smart, but do you build 30 solar panels ahead of time to hedge that off? I mean, no, not really. It's a bit of a waste of labor and time as well. So we'll just do this. I thought I saw some flickering up here, but I may have been mistaken. Well, anyway, having what do we got, 20 or so? That's enough to get us by for the moment. This is great news. A bunch of copper there if we need it. I saw there was also some iron just past where we were that I saw. Jesus, gotta watch out for those bloody big holes. Break your little leg. Yeah, so...
Jetpack on.
Oh, and there's a shitload of copper right there. Shoring up the grid's important. Also building a pneumatics machine or whatever it is, hydraulics machine, is pretty important for getting our grow room going as well. They're both equally important, to be perfectly honest. What's it going to take? Well, actually, let's actually put you on the cook anyway, because this requires so much energy. So we might have to babysit this a little bit. It's probably going to be... Yeah, that'll hedge it off a little. Alright. Yeah, gold takes so long to cook. So if we go... No. H. Hydraulic pipe bender. Oh, hang on. It's already got stuff. Wait, hang on. Did I cook exactly the right amount of copper? Well, I guess I've got 8 copper in there. And I need 20 iron. Okay. 2 and 20. We'll do that while the sun's still up. Oh, wow. Look at that iron right there. I wonder if there's more to this deposit. Looks like there is. Alright. We won't actually forget about that deposit. I certainly hope not. It's a big bloody hole right next to my base. Just got to beat the sun, you know? Alright. And we'll leave that existing bit there just for visual. Alright, that's probably enough of that, thanks. Still had a fair bit to go. How's that grid going? Oh, we're running blue on there, so...
Power low.
I was going to say perfect timing. I was just going to switch this out real quickly and get that extra bit of juice out. Perfect. Good timing. Alright, so we... Bit messy, but so it goes. 20 iron, so we'll just wait for that iron to pop out. And I might just stick that gold in, because our grid... well, actually, maybe I won't. We've still got yellow on that battery. And we're about to lose the sun for the day. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You just... yeah, you got to be a little bit stingy with your power at the beginning. So we get the pipe bender out and... we could probably just put it here. I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't do that. Yeah. So yeah, look, I don't really want to fill that room with pure oxygen if I can help it, but at this point in time, like I said, Mars, we can draw from the atmosphere. There's nitrogen in the atmosphere. We can work with that, right? And we can filter out pollutants and so on and so forth. There's nothing. The only way that we're going to get it is from the waste of the smelter, and it is incredibly toxic. So we would have to go through a fairly rigorous bloody filtering system, and it's very hot. And containing all that sort of shit in a room and it's hot and then having to cool it, that is a bit of a task as well. Which one requires more work? Well, I mean, who's to say? I guess it's going to come down to personal preference. But, I think getting this, going the way that I'm doing it at the moment is a perfectly reasonable way to go. Why did you stop? It's because I connected that to the power. I didn't realize it disconnects. We saw this once before. It makes the sort of power trip, makes it hiccup. Yeah, no, we didn't have enough gear to make more than one anyway. So it just cancelled the build. That's a bit of a shame. Bit of a waste of power as well. If you sort of think about it. My bad, I was sort of trying to just make the job a little bit easier for myself. Yeah. So that would have warmed up in there, but then the part that we captured into that pipe's probably cooled even more. In previous builds, I'd built a sort of tunnel around it, so the sunlight didn't have any access to the pipe, because the pipe still radiates. That's why we have insulated pipe now. The radiator is actually essentially really efficient at cooling a heat transfer. So, I mean, if you want to use it as a cooling method, it's tricky because it'll just flash freeze all your shit. Or you know what I mean? It'll make it very, very cold very, very quickly. At least by doing this incremental little lengths of pipe, you can sort of predict how much cooling you're getting. Oh god, that's going to take a little while. Bugger, shame it reset. Yeah, okay, so that's the plan. We're going to make the next machine along, we'll pop it there, right? Then from there we're going to build one of these canisters, like the ones you can see on my suit. We will stick it onto the oxygen, which we're going to have to bloody crank. So we'll do that now. Because I'm pretty sure... Oh, jeez. Come here. Yeah, you can't actually access. That's where you put the canister. You stick it in and it'll just fill it up immediately. And I'm pretty sure, even though it's fairly high pressure, given the space that we're going to be putting it in, we should be okay. I mean, we don't have much of a choice. It's sort of like that puzzle about, getting the right measurement out of the two different buckets. One's a 3-litre bucket, one's a 5-litre bucket. You just got to work with the sort of the cup that you have, and all we will really be able to have at this sort of low tech level is a canister, and we can plug it in and it will only fill it all the way up, and so we'll put it in there. So hopefully when we're in there sealed and we have both doors open, there's not enough air in that canister to blow us up. I really don't think there would be, but you got to think of these things anyhow, because that pressure won't translate into such a large area, because again, it's in a canister. So there's not a direct correlation per se. Okay. Cool. We should be able to put this back together easily. Cable coil. Oh, you know what? We're probably going to have to weld more shit on in a second anyway. Plastic sheets. Oh, screwdriver. Yeah, so there's another step in the other one and not this one? Not sure. Right. And then we'd want to build that. Wait, hang on. What was this? Gas canister smart? Oh, that's cool. What's that take? Steel. Well, steel's beyond us at the moment. But yeah, so we just got to put 5 iron into there. We'll do that. And then, yeah, like I said, fill it up, fill that room up, basically normalize it, get an idea of the cooling. Probably going to have to heat it up with a road flare. How's that going to go? How is heating up a room full of bloody oxygen with a road flare going to go? I don't know, because I don't really understand how flares work in this game, Does it count as like a burning fire light source or not? Probably shouldn't, but, is it ultimately inert? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys have a thought on that, but that's the plan at the moment to go forward. I might be setting myself up to blow myself up, so be it. But, well, I guess what else is going to be in there? CO2? Like, as long as we don't have any volatile in there, right? Like now, if we had the tiniest little 1% of volatile, we could probably blow ourselves up then with a lot of oxygen to feed it. But it's hypothetically, right? It's like, I don't even know. I'm not a huge chemist. That's the thing. I'm not really good with all this sort of stuff. But I always remember people telling me, like, if you had the purest of pure bloody, like, sulfuric acid, would it actually do anything? Would it technically work as an acid? And I thought that was a sort of argument, it's sort of inert. But then I'm like, well, acid reacts with, like, it draws the water molecules out of your skin. So, like, if you poured that onto your skin, it'll probably still burn because it's reacting with something. But I guess the same sort of concept goes. It's like if it was only O2 in the system, can we actually still detonate stuff? I don't think so. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's why I'm asking, because I'm musing, because I don't know for sure. Maybe you guys have some thoughts on that. But that's the plan. Let me know before the next episode so I don't blow myself up. But yeah, I'm probably going to dump a whole thing of oxygen in there with some CO2 waste, use a road flare to get the temperature up to around that 16 degree temperature, and then go on with the plants. Now, if there's a problem with that, let me know. I can just think already filling up this room with the O2 and letting it heat from the sun might work as well, but it'll take a lot longer. Anyway, team, thanks again for joining me. We might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.